When you are with a narcissist, you don't go on vacation, you go on guilt trips. Because guilt is a weapon that narcissists use to keep you in relationships, to make you feel bad about the stuff that they do to you, to make you feel bad about wanting to leave them for moving too fast, to make you feel bad about trying to leave them. You're going to abandon me like my mom did, like my ex-wife or my ex-husband did? Oh my goodness, you're going to abandon me? Wow, you never really cared for me. You never really loved me, did you? That is not your guilt to have, y'all. Don't let them put their guilty conscience on you. And you are a co-passenger in this vehicle as well. You can tap the brakes if you want to, because if you don't set boundaries with a narcissist, you'll be ran over top of. You'll be taken advantage of. You'll be used, abused, and discarded like you mean nothing. So if you have a problem saying no to people, you literally are a target for narcissistic people. Saying the word no could save you so much time and help you avoid narcissistic people, y'all. Set boundaries, slow down, please. Hope this helps. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of A Narcissist Explains. I am self-aware diagnosed narcissist Lee Hammock, also known as mental illness, across all social media platforms. If this is your first time coming to my channel, I am a diagnosed narcissist. I use all those platforms to raise awareness for NPD, get more people into therapy like myself on all sides of the spectrum, and then also validate the victims and survivors of said disorder. This series, I just take my TikToks and YouTube shorts and make them longer. They are 60 seconds or less. I'm going to go more in depth into them. So the one you just watched was about a woman who, I get a lot of comments on my TikTok and whatnot. And a woman, I responded to some of them. So a woman said, he told me he loved me in 3 weeks, married after 8 months. That's my bad. Every time I tried to slow things down, I was guilted. Don't you love me? Don't you love me? Don't you care about me? Why would you try to slow things down when they're moving so smoothly? If you really love me, you just marry me in 8 months. If you really love me, you should know in 3 weeks, right? Y'all, please, for the love of all things holy, if you see this video, if this video just happens, you don't know who I am, you don't know what I'm about, you don't know what a narcissist is, take these words to heart right here. We're narcissists or not, y'all, please stop letting people make you feel guilty for wanting to slow things down. Stop letting people make you feel guilty for setting boundaries to protect yourself. Because I tell people all the time, speed is the weapon of the narcissist. It just is. The faster you move, the more red flags you're going to miss. The faster you fall in love, the easier it is to make you feel guilty. The easier it is for you to give that person the benefit of the doubt. Y'all, it takes at least 90 days to get to know somebody for who they really are. At least 90 days. It probably can take more time. It's going to be a little bit more on a lot of times. But at least the minimum 90 days. 21 days in, they're saying, I love you. 8 months later, they're married. Like, look how fast that goes. Sometimes, so do these fairy tale romances happen sometimes? Yes, they do happen. And sometimes they live happily ever after. But a lot of times, you end up with narcissistic people that move fast because they don't want you to know who they really are. They move extremely fast to get you sucked into the system, get you sucked in there, and then they start to devalue you, and they start to use, abuse, and a lot of times they'll discard you. They'll leave you the same way they found you. You'll be happy, and you'll be happy alone, and you'll be sad alone. You don't want to do that because, especially so this is the biggest guilt trip, right? This is one of the biggest guilt trips. So I talk to people over Zoom. This is one of the biggest guilt trips that toxic people and narcissists do all the time, y'all. Especially if it's a man. Let's talk about the men right quick. Women can be narcissists, y'all. If a man hears this and Lee, women can be narcissists. Duh. Women can be narcissists. I'm talking about narcissistic men that have nowhere to go. They always make you feel guilty about them being homeless and having nowhere to go. I don't have anywhere to go. I guess I'm gonna live in the back. Man, there's a nice. Where you gonna stay at tonight? Oh, there's a nice park bench I saw over there on 5th Avenue. It looked a little cozy. It was more. It was a new bench they put in, so it'll be comfortable. I got some. The daily paper, the New York Times just came out, and it's a thick edition of the New York Times, so I should be warm tonight. I should be pretty warm. Yeah. Unless I can stay here. I mean, do you want me to stay here with you? 2 weeks into the relationship, a week into the relationship, they make you feel guilty about their situations. Stop letting people make you feel guilty about the life choices that have led them to the point where they are right now. Homeless at 48 years old. Sometimes is that a valid excuse? Sometimes people fall on bad luck. Sometimes people cheat and get kicked out of their houses where they were living at and are homeless. Like my girlfriend kicked me out. That right there is they call those people hobosexuals. I've seen that term used so many times. Hobosexual is somebody that makes you fall in love with them and do anything. They'll pretty much love bomb you for shelter. They're loving you for shelter. They're clapping your cheeks for a roof over their head to get out of the rain. Clapping your cheeks is it's easier than laying on a park bench trying to get warm and cozy and things like that. So stop letting people feel guilty. So homeless people do exist. I'm not talking down on homeless people, because some of them have literally just fallen on bad luck and are good people. But some of these people have made terrible decisions with their lives and have been terrible people and are still terrible people and will use you for everything that you have. So a homeless, narcissistic person will love bomb the bejesus out of you and do everything that you want them to do, because they don't have anything else, y'all. They'll make you feel guilty about them having nothing. Stop letting people make you feel guilty. I'm not saying that the woman in the original video, the woman of the original comment, I'm not saying this is her situation, but I hear this situation over and over again. You let people bring nothing to the table but their body and their presence, and that's all y'all need, and they'll make you feel guilty, especially if they don't have a job or something like they're not helping out with the bills. I don't want to work right now. I mean, you gonna make me go get a job to embarrass me? I don't want to go work at McDonald's. This is embarrassing. I'm 45 years old. What am I like working at McDonald's or working at Walmart? Can you just give me time to find a better job? 5 years later, they still don't have a job. They'll use the same guilt every single time. And then when you try to correct them, you try to come at them like, hey, I need you out next week because you haven't found a job in 5 years. Oh, I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't have any money. Where am I stay? Where am I go back to the park bench? What do you want me to do? Stop letting people use guilt to manipulate you. That is not your guilt, y'all. Their guilt, their situation is not your burden. Can you help? Is it okay to help people out sometimes? Yes, but it's not okay to let people take advantage of you while you're helping them. Narcissistic people will take advantage of you while you're giving stuff to them. They'll take advantage of you while they're taking stuff away from you. They'll use you, y'all. They'll cheat on you, use you, abuse you, and then try to make you feel guilty. Like this person right here, she said, every time I tried to slow things down, I was guilted. Don't you love me? Yeah, I love you, but I love myself as well. Where are your boundaries at, y'all? Putting boundaries up is like I call it a guilt guard. Putting boundaries up. Don't you love me? Why you want to slow things down? Because I love myself. Guilt guard. I love myself, and I want to take time to make sure this is what I really want. Guilt guard. Boundary. Oh, well, in that case, why don't we just call things quit then? Why don't we just call it quits? We should just break up then. If you don't want to keep moving, we should just break up. I don't want to stop. Why would I want to stop? Let that person go. I know it's tough. That person is not for you. They just forced you. They just used guilt to try to force you to be with them. Gave you an ultimatum. Either you keep moving fast as hell and uncomfortable with me, or you go find somebody else. Find somebody else. That fear, sometimes your fear of being alone, or your fear of being rejected, or your love for this person will get you caught up and hurt and used and manipulated, and you just will have a terrible life just because you couldn't say the word no to somebody. Just because you couldn't stand up for yourself and set a boundary. Narcissists like to set precedents early on in the relationship. If they lie to you early in the relationship, they will lie to you later on. They cheat on you early, they will cheat on you later on. If they guilt trip you early, they will guilt trip you later on. Don't let them set the precedents. Let them set precedents that also benefits you. Because me as a narcissist, I'm self-serving. That narcissistic person in your life is self-serving first. Ego first. Me first. And if you happen to get hurt in the process of me making myself happy, you are collateral damage, and that's your fault for being so close to the storm. You knew by building your house on the beach that a hurricane could come through and tear it down, right? That's how the narcissist is. The narcissist is the hurricane. You built your house on the beach. Here goes the hurricane. The narcissist making themselves happy is the hurricane. Hurricane narcissist coming through. Hurricane guilt trip spinning on the coast of North Carolina. It's a category 5 too. It is spinning. It is whipping everything around. It is destroying everything in sight. There's one house left on the beach, and it's your house. You're like, why'd you build a house on the beach? You knew hurricane. You were building. You signed the contract. You started building plans. You knew hurricane narcissist was coming. Hurricane guilt was coming. You still built it there, and they tore it down, and then you blame them. You blame the hurricane. The hurricane is gonna be the hurricane. Slow yourself down, y'all. Stop letting people use guilt against you. Weaponized guilt is a real thing, y'all. It really is. It just is. They're going to use guilt to keep you unhappy. They're going to use guilt to keep you in this untenable situation. They're going to use guilt to just make you feel like you're worthless and useless and things like that. Don't let people use your own, like, manipulate guilt like that, y'all, because you have the power and the ability to stand in your truth and set boundaries, y'all. Just set boundaries, because like, or else I'm gonna rip a dread out on my next episode. Y'all gotta set some boundaries. You just do. You just do. No boundaries, no life. How about that? I just put it as simple as that. No boundaries, no quality of life. You're just gonna be a doormat. Just go ahead and, like, when you know the narcissist on the way home, like they be home at 5, go at 4:57 p.m. Go lay in front of the door and let them step over you. Set your boundaries. I know that's harsh, y'all, but sometimes you gotta be hard. You gotta resonate. I had to resonate with you. Lay down, clean yourself off, and let them step up top of you. My doormat's here. Clean their feet off. Go in there, run over top of you. You have the ability to stop it, y'all. You really do. Don't question yourself. Set your boundaries. Protect yourself. Mental Illness is out. Peace.